Most people aren't broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because nobody ever handed them a real plan. Not a vague save more, spend less plan. A specific, step-by-step, this is what I would actually do plan. So that's what this is.
Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table on a Sunday night, phone in hand, staring at your bank balance. You got paid 3 days ago. You've already paid rent, covered your bills, bought groceries, and somehow there's $200 left, and the month isn't even half over. You're not blowing money on crazy stuff. You're not going on vacations. You're just living. And yet, at the end of every single month, there's nothing left to show for it. Sound familiar? Yeah, that was me too. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear, honest, step-by-step breakdown of exactly what I would do to build real wealth from zero if I had to start over today. Not theory, not inspiration. Actual moves in actual order, with actual numbers.
Here's the thing about wealth. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care that you're working hard or that life's been expensive. The gap between the people who end up comfortable and the people who end up stressed at 65 isn't talent. It's whether they started building a system or not. And every year you wait, compound interest is working against you instead of for you. A 25-year-old who invests $300 a month could have over $800,000 by retirement. A 35-year-old doing the exact same thing, around $380,000. Same money, same effort, a decade's difference. That's what's at stake here. Before you invest a single dollar, you've got to know where your money is actually going. Not a rough guess. Not a, I think I spend about $400 on food. Real numbers. Pull up your last 2 bank statements right now, or tonight. Go line by line. Add up what you spent on subscriptions, eating out, random Amazon purchases, and anything that wasn't a fixed bill. Most people are genuinely shocked. The average American spends around $3,000 a year on things they forget they're even paying for. That's $250 a month. Gone. You don't need to cut everything. You need to cut the things you don't consciously enjoy. Cancel what you don't use. Downgrade what you barely use. That's it. No willpower required. Just awareness. The actionable move? Set a 30-minute money audit on your calendar this week. One time. Go line by line. Find $100 minimum that you can redirect. That $100, invested monthly at a 10% average annual return, is $76,000 over 20 years. Before you touch debt, before you invest, you need a $1,000 buffer. That's your financial airbag. Here's why. Without it, the first time your car needs a repair or your phone breaks, you go straight to a credit card. And then you're back in the hole. A $1,000 buffer means life's small emergencies stop derailing your progress. $1,000 feels huge when you're starting from zero. It isn't. If you can find that extra $100 a month from your audit, that's 10 months. But most people can also sell a few things, pick up 1 or 2 extra shifts, or do a bit of gig work to get there faster. The goal is 90 days or less. Give it a deadline. Keep it in a high-yield savings account. Right now, those are paying around 4.5% to 5% annual interest. That's not investment money. It's your safety net, and it should be boring and accessible. Once you've got that $1,000 cushion, your next dollar goes toward any debt that's charging you over 7% interest. Credit cards average about 22% APR right now in the US. That's not just expensive, it's mathematically impossible to outrun with investments. You cannot build wealth while paying 22% interest anywhere. It doesn't matter how good your investment returns are. The S&P 500 historically averages around 10% per year. Paying off a 22% credit card is a guaranteed 22% return. Nothing in the market compares to that. Use the avalanche method. List your debts from highest interest rate to lowest and throw every extra dollar at the top one while paying minimums on the rest. Once it's gone, roll that payment into the next. It's not exciting, but it works faster than anything else.
Here's a myth you've probably heard. Renting is just throwing money away. You should buy a house as soon as possible. Reality? In many cities right now, Toronto, London, Sydney, San Francisco, buying a home with a $50,000 down payment and a mortgage at current rates could cost you $3,500 to $4,500 a month, all in. Renting a comparable place might cost $2,000. That $1,500 to $2,500 monthly difference, invested consistently, that can outperform homeownership by a significant margin over 10 years, depending on where you live. Homeownership is great, but it's not always the obviously smart move people think it is. Timing and location matter massively. There's one step in this plan that almost nobody does, and it's the one that actually separates people who build serious wealth from people who just break even. We'll get to it in a minute. If your employer offers a 401k match in the US, a pension match in the UK, or a superannuation employer contribution in Australia, and you're not capturing the full thing, you are leaving free money on the table. That's not a metaphor. It is literally free money. A common match structure in the US is 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary. If you earn $60,000 a year and contribute 6%, $3,600, your employer adds $1,800. That's an instant 50% return on $3,600. Nothing, no investment, no side hustle, gives you that immediately. The move: log into your HR portal this week. Find your 401k or pension plan. Confirm you're contributing at least enough to get the full employer match. If you're not, increase it by 1% right now. You probably won't feel it in your take-home pay. Okay, let's look at this from a completely different angle for a second. Everything we've talked about so far is about protecting and growing what you already earn. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If your income is low, there's a ceiling on how fast you can get there. Cutting expenses and investing smartly matters, but so does earning more. And in 2025, increasing your income is more accessible than it's ever been. You don't need a second job. You need a second income stream, even a small one. The average side hustle in the US brings in around $810 a month, according to recent surveys. That's not enough to retire on. But $810 extra a month, invested entirely, that's $9,720 a year. Over 20 years at 10% average returns, that's roughly $620,000 from a side hustle alone. It doesn't have to be glamorous. Freelance writing, tutoring, selling stuff you already own, delivering on weekends, charging for a skill you already have. The point isn't to grind yourself into the ground. It's to find one thing that adds $300 to $500 a month and redirect that money entirely toward your wealth building. Here's the psychology behind it. When the money comes from a separate stream, it doesn't feel like your money yet. It's easier to invest it before it hits your lifestyle. If you're still watching, here's something worth knowing. You're already in the top 10% of people who actually do something about their finances. Most people click away. Most people scroll past. The fact that you're here, taking this seriously, means you're already doing the hardest part, starting.
You've done the budget audit. You've got your emergency fund. You've cleared high-interest debt. You're getting the employer match. You've got a side income. Now what? This is the step everyone skips. Automate everything and then leave it alone. Set up an automatic transfer the same day you get paid. Your investing contribution goes out before you can spend it. Your savings buffer tops up automatically. It happens without you thinking about it. You never see the money, so you never miss it. Here's why this is the most powerful step. Willpower is a finite resource. Every month you have to consciously decide to invest, you're one stressful week away from skipping it. Automation removes the decision entirely. The system runs whether you're motivated or not.
The wealthiest people I've studied don't have more discipline than everyone else. They've built systems that make the right move the default move. That's it. That's the whole secret. And here's what that looks like in real numbers. Let's say you're 28 years old. You automate $400 a month into a low-cost index fund tracking the S&P 500. You never touch it. At a 10% average annual return, which is roughly the historical US market average, by age 60, you have approximately $1,040,000, over $1 million, from $400 a month. Automated, ignored, done. This isn't really about money, is it? It's about what money buys you. It's about not checking your bank balance before you agree to go to dinner with friends. It's about saying yes to a trip without doing mental math for a week. It's about not lying awake at 2 a.m. wondering how you're going to cover next month. It's about options. The ability to walk away from a job that's making you miserable, or to take care of your parents when they need it, or to not be a burden on your kids. That's what we're building here. Not just numbers. A life where money is in the background, not the headline. All right, let's bring it home. If I were starting from zero today, here's exactly what I'd do, in this exact order. 1. Do a 30-minute money audit. Find $100 minimum that's leaking out every month. 2. Build a $1,000 emergency fund in a high-yield savings account, earning around 4.5 to 5%. 3. Attack any debt over 7% interest using the avalanche method, starting with whatever's charging you the most, probably a credit card at around 22% APR. 4. Contribute at least enough to your 401k, pension, or super to capture the full employer match. That's an instant 50% return in many cases. 5. Start one income stream on the side and invest every dollar it earns. 6. Automate your investing and leave it alone. $400 a month from age 28 at 10% average annual returns becomes over $1 million by age 60. None of these steps require luck. None of them require a high salary. They require a system. And now you've got one.
Here's my question for you. Drop it in the comments. Which of these 6 steps are you starting with this week? I genuinely want to know where you're at. If this gave you a clear next move, smash the thumbs up. It helps more people find this video. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit it now, because next week we're going deep on index funds. Specifically, the one mistake most beginners make in their first year that quietly costs them thousands. You don't want to miss that one.